Can you tell us a bit about how Council has managed the coronavirus impacts and the ensuing public health orders so far?
Edwina, around the middle of March, I think it was the 18th or 19th, the strategies that the federal government and the state government have introduced to manage the virus really started to impact on council's operations and in the community itself. We took the initiative to implement our business continuity plan, and as a result of that, the first thing that we did was to stop staff and councillors travelling around the region and to the city. We did that to make sure that we would not be the vehicle bringing the virus into town. Then we split our work teams up into smaller groups, more distinct groups, and to separate them. And as a result of that, we found that we had staff working in different buildings. Some staff are working at home and are still doing that now. And we moved a lot of our behind the scenes work onto the internet.
And how do you think this situation has affected our community?
Well, like the community, the council was required to close a number of its businesses and operations, so things like the library and the museum and the arts centre. In Narrandera Shire Park, we closed the playgrounds and the skate park and the barbecues, and across the Shire those closures were taking place. Out in the community, of course, it was much more serious, where the businesses themselves had to close, anyone connected to the hospitality industry, hotels, motels and the cafes, and many of the what were regarded as possibly non-essential businesses also closed. So the impact was really quite significant.
Some of these restrictions are being lifted from Friday, tomorrow. What does this mean for our residents?
Well, I think first thing it means is good news, and that's been made possible by the fact that the community here and in a lot of places has been really compliant and did everything that was asked of them to minimise the opportunity to contract the virus. We only had one case in Narrandera Shire throughout the whole of this epidemic, and that is really tremendous. I think now that the state government are implementing the Prime Minister's announcements, and we've got a plan to move forward, the council will be reopening some of its facilities. So residents will notice that first thing in the morning, the Narrandera Shire facilities will be open. The playground for the little ones, the gym equipment, the skate park, the barbecues, they'll all reopen, and we're doing that across the Shire. In terms of our offices, we're going to reopen our main office here in East Street Monday morning, and residents will be able to come in here and transact their business from 9 o'clock Monday morning.
Is there anything specific you'd ask of people using the facilities going forward?
Well, yes, there's signage going up both here at our office and in the park, reminding people of the rules that will continue to apply. So social distancing is the most important of those, but in the outdoor facilities there's a limit of 10 people per group, can't exceed that at any one time. Here in our office, I think we've measured it up, and maybe 3 or 4 people will be allowed inside the foyer at any one time, and there'll be signs up to that effect. So we just ask people to continue their wonderful cooperation.
With the second instalment for rates and water due this month, do you have any tips or additional information for ratepayers?
Yes, I do, Edwina, and I'd like to point out that the councillors and the council as an organisation recognise that the impact of this virus has not been evenly felt across the Shire, but some people have really been knocked by it financially. At the meeting in April, the council deferred a few payments to some specific businesses, like the Rex Airlines, for example. Council has waived the landing fees to try and help them keep up their operation here, because we recognise that it's so important. But the council also extended the hardship policy so that it now applies to all ratepayers and businesses and farms, residences in the Shire. And anyone that finds themselves suffering hardship as a result of the COVID virus can come and see us. The application process has been simplified. It's not quite so intrusive anymore, and people will feel more comfortable. Come along, talk to us about your problems, and if appropriate, those rate payments will be deferred for a little while until you get back on your feet.
What can we expect going forward?
Well, hopefully all of this will work without a significant increase in the number of infections. And we'll get to level 2 in a few weeks' time, and we'll be able to see more and more relaxation of the rules. I should mention that Council currently has its draft budget for 2020-21 on display, and it's available for people to have a look at. The key feature there is that it contains a significant capital works program, probably about 130 projects that will be delivered across the Shire. And what that means is not only employment for our men and women, but also for the contractors that work with the council, the businesses that trade with the council, and we'll be doing everything we possibly can to stimulate the local economy in delivering those projects.
And finally, is there anything that you'd like to add for our community?
Just a big thank you, I think, for the way in which the residents have approached this whole problem. I think during the whole period that we've been closed, I received one complaint. And hopefully that's an indication that not only are people appreciative of the rules that have been put in place, but recognise how important it is to comply and to keep those infection numbers down. The last thing we want as a community is to have a hotspot in Narrandera. So I just ask people to continue with their good work, maintain their social distance, their personal hygiene, and if you have the technology, download that COVID safe app and use it, because the government, whether we like it or not, the government is going to need it to make decisions about moving forward.
Wonderful, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Edwina.